Ladies and gentlemen, I am doing a subscriber push this week, meaning I'm going to be seeing how many subs I can get in a week. It's just kind of a challenge to myself. Now, I'm going to be doing some giveaways, and I'll tier the giveaways based upon how many subs I'm getting, meaning if I get more subs, I'll do bigger giveaways, all right? What I'm going to do now here is I'm going to give out $100 just to start it off, and all you have to be is a subscriber and leave the comment saying subscribe week. That's it. Subscribe week and be a subscriber, because I'm going to use a filter that actually go through and pick the person, and it has to say subscribe week and you got to be a sub. That's it. And we'll see how many new subscribers we're going to get this week, and I will do more and more giveaways, you know, be it cash items. I've given away a Nintendo Switch before, stuff like that, just kind of for the well pod. And let me know if you like the idea. But let's get into today's video, which is going to be game-changing characters, meaning game-changing rares, epics, legendaries. If you pull any of these characters that are going to be on this list, these are the characters that will, well, I guess for a lack of saying it better, will change the game for you. So I'm going to put Warmaiden in as the first one. And the reason why is because, one, she's completely free to play. You can farm this character for free at stage 9, you know, normal, hard, brutal, whatever it is you're on. And once you get her, what she does and why she's good is the other moves are fine, but the A3 is really why, which gets down to a 3-turn cooldown when booked. And what it does is 100% chance of placing, again, this is when booked, of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Why is this so good? Well, she's the first character in your account that is really going to give you, unless you post something from shards, of course, but she's going to give you the first AoE defense down you're really going to acquire. And that's when you start getting to the point of the game where you can potentially mix her with like your Kel starter or whoever it is you started to really do some one-shotting of the waves, where Warmaiden goes first, does the defense down, you know, Kel goes with his AoE, one-shots the wave, etc. And I would say having access to a way of chewing through waves a little bit quicker is one of the first things you really want. And waves quicker, I'm mostly talking about like low-level dungeons, campaigns, whatever it is you can farm here when you're really starting out. And Warmaiden is, in my opinion, one of the first game-changing characters you get. I think Gorgorab's another good example of a game-changing character. Back when I got him fairly early. I think I got him about 20 shards in or so. And he definitely was game-changing for me at that point, because he was, 1, my first speed lead in Arena, 2, my first turn meter fill, because I didn't get Apothecary till later, and 3, my first revive. He has a lot of things in his kit, so let's go through his kit here. His basic attack has a chance of removing a random buff, and that gets a higher chance up to 75 when booked, right? Which is great in Magic Keep. He's also even affinity in Magic Keep. This is a 3-turn cooldown when booked, and it fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% and gives them the maximum increased attack up buff, which is the 50%. And that's all allies. And then this is amazing because it's basically an AoE revive. It revives any dead allies with 25% HP, then heals all allies by 25%. This is on a 5-turn cooldown when booked. You can't really spam it, but it is good enough for dungeons. You can do things like dragon waves with this by having people like Coldhearts, who are also on this list, or other, you know, squishy people get revived later on in the match with this guy. Plus his aura here is ally speed and ring by 23%. That's pretty good for an epic. And his kit obviously leans himself to PvP, but he can also be used in PvE. I think Gorgorab is game-changing for sure when you pull him for the first time. So if you get this guy and you're newer to the game, don't sleep on him. He's definitely worth using. I'm going to put Longbeard on this list, but really this could be filled by the Epic Catacomb Counselor as well as Lanicus. Anyone with a team-wide charge or a multiple-person charge is quite good. And let me go through this guy's A3, and I'm not really going to talk about his other moves because really I'm just talking about the charge here. Attacks an enemy with 4 allies, increase the damage inflicted by 20%. Catacomb Counselor has a nerfed version of this. Basically, it's not quite as good. Lanicus has a version of this as well. And the reason this is so good is for a couple of things. One, it's good in PvE because if you have people that hit multiple times with things like Giant Slayer or really hard on their basic attack, just like Alton, for instance, this can do a significant amount of damage, especially because it increases the damage inflicted by allies by 20%. So if you have, or Rodos even, people who hit hard, the 20% increase is actually pretty good. But you have people who do like Giant Slayer and stuff on their basic, because when he calls them in, they'll use their basic. They also hit pretty hard too, because you're getting so many of them. Or you have people that have like poisons on basic, etc. When you have a character like this, you can work around knowing that you can charge everyone in with basics. I always get dumped on an arena team with the people who run like the Lanicus, Sinesha, Skullcrown, type of teams that, one shot you when they go at you. If they go first, they tend to win. So really anyone with a charge, it could be Longbeard, it could be Lanicus, it could be, I believe it's under Undead here. It could be this guy, Catacomb Counselor, same thing. They join, they attack a single enemy. It's also really good in PvP for reasons that Rotos getting hit multiple times can really kill him, plus charging AoEs are obviously good too. So yeah, anyone with a charge is going to be the next one on my list. You guys were probably expecting this one. This one's Miscreated Monster, a.k.a. Frank, a.k.a. Mr. Rude Dude. His entire kit's disgusting. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, like, what? Most of these characters, I'm saying, like, because of this move, but like everything's good about it. So you just walk through, okay? Attacks an enemy twice. Each chance has a hit of placing the stun, and if the stun is placed, you have a chance of placing decreased defense, basically. So you try to stun them. Oh, he did get stunned. Oh, cool. He also got decreased defense. Maybe that's how that works. Okay. Second one, which is this is where we start to get the good moves here. Attacks all enemies, 50% chance of placing a stun buff for 1 turn. That's great. AoE stun. Places a shield buff on all allies for 3 turns, equal to 25% of the damage inflicted. And it's based upon HP, and he has high base HP at 22,000. So you can see where this is going. You do like crit rate, crit damage, tons of HP, does 1 billion damage. The shield is huge. So then look at this. On top of this, then he has a way of sustaining himself. So he places ally protection on all allies except this champion for 3 turns, kind of akin to Skull Crusher there. And then he heals this champion by 50% of their max HP. So again, you build him for HP for damage, but you also build him for HP for sustain and tank. He gets both for the same thing. And places continuous heal on him, which is based on, continuous heal is percentage of your health on the champion for 3 turns. So disgusting move. But then let's look at the passive. Okay. Places a fear debuff on the attacker for 1 turn whenever an ally is attacked while under an ally. So he also does CC in addition to the stun. Basically, if they hit your guy that's protected, they're probably going to get feared. Okay, because it's not a chance of, it places the fear, right? But resistance and all that. I'm pretty sure that can get resisted. And then ally HP in arena 33%. So he is kind of designed for both, mostly PvP, I would think. But the reason that people use him in PvE is because of this shield. It's so nuts. People use him in places like the Spire Dungeon to keep Coldheart's Royal Guards alive for 1 million turns, so they guarantee to get their moves off. There's a lot of ways you can use him. Plus, he actually does pretty decent damage. You can use him in like Ice Golem too, that kind of helps sustain some of the waves. There's a pretty good amount of places you can use him. I have one built. I don't regret building him, and the cat is jumping up into my lap. And so I would, in fact, recommend Miscreated Monster if you get him. He would be the definition of game-changing. Okay, yeah, you knew this was going to come. Coldheart's an obvious one. Not going to talk about her too long, but basically she's one of the only characters in the game that has enemy max HP hit that reduces turn meter. So basically, she hits you with a huge nuke, and you have no turn meter afterwards. Whereas this good Spider, she's a staple in Spider, same with Royal Guards, but Royal Guard doesn't have the decreased turn meter combined with the enemy max HP, yada, yada, yada. So for that reason, Coldheart really has a place that no one else does. I mean, she is a staple in any team that's looking to nuke quickly. She's also really good in Fire Knight, because you can charge her again, like I was talking about with those charges, into like the Fire Knight, or counterattack into the Fire Knight shield and clear it very quickly. If you have 2 of these with like an Arbiter, that's something people use. There's a lot of ways to do it. So if you get Coldheart, it's going to automatically make your Spider team better. And you're hopefully, if you have her combined with like one other person, because she won't do all the damage herself, but if you combine her with one other, hopefully you got enough damage to start actually autoing like Spider 20. A lot of people combine her with like HP burn or something like that, because she doesn't do AoE enemy max HP. So she only does that to like the big Spider, and then the little ones are still alive. So the HP burn will trigger off all those and do damage too. There's, you got to combine her with other ways, but she's mostly a huge Spider killer. And look, they even got Spider all around here in the background, right? Kind of makes it funny. Definitely a Spider killer. Game-changing Spider killer. Gotta keep saying that annoying buzzword. Since we're talking about Coldheart, we got to talk about Royal Guard, kind of for the same reasons, but Royal Guard's probably a little better in my opinion. His basic attack does decrease defense, which I actually use him in my Spider Dungeon, combined with Longbeard to charge in 3 of them to put the defense down, so that way then his second move, which is an AoE kind of version of the Coldheart move we were talking about, where it scales off enemy max HP. It doesn't decrease the turn meter though. This cat really wants on my lap. But it does do AoE version of enemy max HP, and it also scales upon attack as well. So you can give him some attack bonuses, and he has high base attack of 1531 there, you can see. And he'll be able to hit through the waves with this move. You kind of want to combine it with an AoE defense down like the Warmaiden, though. And then also this move's good too because it hits 4 times a random. Each hit has a chance of placing decreased speed, but really it's all about decreasing the target's turn meter because each one has a chance of doing that. And then he has an increase, which is actually the best ally attack in dungeons in the game, if you didn't know, at 35%. So he's a staple in almost every dungeon. You don't really use him in Fire Knight, but in every other dungeon, a variety of people use him, and he's very, very well known for being one of just the best characters in the game, regardless of being legendary, void, anything. He's just one of the best. The next one isn't anyone in particular, but I'm going to say it's pulling a farmer. This could be Queen Eva, Ray, Fellhound, Bellower, anyone that's really a well-known 12-3 brutal farmer. And in this particular instance, it might be one of the most game-changing things in the entire game. Yes, you can farm with really any of the starters, but if you choose to use the starters to farm, it's going to be significantly slower than if you happen to get lucky and pull a farmer, right? Like my Queen Eva here, I use her. It's a pretty fast farm. Before her, I was using Ray. Before that, I was doing a very slow 2-person clear with like 2 5-stars. It was very bad. So, and now we have the Ray and the Eva and all the other farmers and all the other food level a lot quicker because of that. So you really don't want to stay with your starter farmer forever. Try to get your hands on a farmer when you can. But I mean, in a game of gambling, I can't really just tell you get lucky and win the jackpot. If you do get a farmer, however, congratulations. It is a very big deal. And that's where we're going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Queen Eva, a.k.a. a farmer, is probably one of the most game-changing things you can pull, especially in the beginning. I'm trying not to make this a whole bunch of legendaries or anything, more accessible or characters you might have you didn't know were good. There's a few honorable mentions as well, like Allure, Tayrel, Sentinel, really a Jarreg, any attack down. But I wasn't in particular trying to weight this heavily for clan boss and more so just game progression. So I love you all. Please do subscribe and leave the comments. Subscribe week if you would like to be in that $100 giveaway. And I'm going to be continuing to try to give back to the WhalePod community who has been so generous with me. I love you all, and I'll see you on the live stream. And I'm live at Reset every day at twitch.tv/Darth Microtransaction.